Welcome back, my lovely beans. For this week in EDA, we do have Exterminate, Mirror Defense, and Disruption. I have to say, I did not really like any of my frames. I do have to say, if you have Hydroid or Temple or Grandin build, they're absolutely fine. It's just, I didn't prefer them. I also didn't prefer them because of Constricted, so max energy reduced by 75, and energy exhaustion. Yes, technically, if you don't stay like too close to your enemies, it should not be that bad. But, and you know, we had shield recharge. Like that makes like a combo where you will feel really uncomfortable to classic shield gate, right? Because less energy gaining, and you know, recharge delay, right? So I instead chose to have all 4 modifiers equipped, and I went for Lavos. Lavos is technically my build to always go health tanking. I do run Lavos and health tank with Eclipse and have on my Profiler, Hunter Recovery. That Hunter Recovery is Warframe healed for 30% companion damage dealt. So that's kind of nice, especially on a health tank frame. Besides that, for the Exterminate, we do have Fissure Rip into the mission, causing the enemy level to go up. That's fine. Enemies' health slowly regenerates. That's actually like kill fast enough. And Rupture Fragments replace Shuffling Fragments, not too sure what that means. For the Mirror Defense, we needed again like double the glyphs, that's fine. Weapons that deal 5x damage to Overguard and Necromax, that's also fine because I think none of us were actually using Overguard, and you do have higher rate and ammo efficiency, but that's, you know. For the Disruption, mainly I would say enemies can target and destroy conduits. Here, if you're on the team, make sure that one person stays behind that is able to clear the enemies around it. Besides that, it's actually fine in my opinion. For weapons, I was really lucky. I had the Coda Baddocyst, that was my main weapon that I was using. Other than that, I had the ladder that I chose to take with me, and Cassava. My Cassava is actually not built, so I was simply using the Coda Baddocyst and was running with that through it and was really comfortable for me. Here we go. First things first, we do have an Exterminate. That's our first run. Like I said, I do have my Panzer with me for Hunter Recovery. We do have energy exhaustion, but you know, Lavos doesn't really care since Lavos doesn't have an energy pool, so that's really comfortable. Other than that, you probably also can really comfortably use Hildrun because Hildrun is using their shield instead of, you know, using anything. I don't really have recall, you know, I should put more recall mods. My recall mod is not leveled on the Baddocyst, so you will see a lot of like, you know, pink and going up and down. I do have to say that. I did not. I should change the color of my Baddocyst. But, you know, Baddocyst actually kind of nice weapons. You need to, like, make sure that you actually keep your stacks up besides that, you know. And I think, if I'm, like, currently remembering correctly, I do run a Deadhead build. But do I? Am I running Crux? I actually can't remember what setup I am running on my Baddocyst at the moment. I should have maybe checked before I went in, because as you know, Deadhead and anything, you know, downstairs demos are not the best fans. You know, you should probably not run and send them any type of Deadhead, because most of the enemies don't have their weak spots as headshots, so you can't actually gain Deadhead stacks on most enemies. On a few you can, but most of them you actually can't, because for example, like some of these robots, you see like the little arms left and right, the like green thingies, that's actually what their weak points at, and you want to make them explode. So yeah. Here we were like thinking for a second if we should reset, but like we did actually not. Because the Vault was running Corrosive Projection instead of Reefer's Bite, so shield gating was definitely a little bit harder. But we did indeed had Vazarin, which... I'm so sorry. We did indeed had Vazarin, which makes it, like, not easy and not really comfortable, but you can void dash yourself, like, you know, little reminder. This week we do have Gear Wheel, but we still have Operator, so if you struggle, you can still void dash yourself with Vazarin or others of your teammate to make sure that they're invulnerable for, like, a short period of time. If you have actually all 3 weapons and your Warframe, I would suggest to, like, not have your Gear Wheel equipped, because, like, not to turn off your Gear Wheel, because having your Gear Wheel up will make it a lot more comfortable for mirror defense, since you can use all form of specters and your crew member. I know that I'm repeating myself quite a bit with that, but I also want to make sure that all of you know that and are comfortable with that. Your gear wheel can be used as long as it's not a modifier part, as long as you have not equipped it. So please use your gear wheel. It will make your life a lot easier. The Exterminate, besides of the little, thinking about, oh yeah, should we reset or not? Because, even resetting is not a big deal, right? Realizing that something is not, working with your equipment, you don't feel comfortable, it is totally fine with your squad to reset. Because we're all learning, right? Besides that, Baddocyst and similarly, me as Lavas, I literally have. Like, you see that I partially don't even have Eclipse up, I have to say, because I forget from time to time to actually activate my Eclipse. But besides that, really comfortable. We're not talking about what we're getting out of here, okay? I will not tell you. Like, this week's EDA, ETA betrayed us. We only got, like, boring, small rewards. We got constantly shots, I will not say that, but, like, holy, I got so annoyed by that. Also, before you start, for example, mirror defense and you have your gear, make sure that you take a second. Right, you don't need to immediately start your mirror defense. You can drop everything first, set it up, and then you go in, right? We have shield drones, we have a Dante Spectre, and we have an ancient healer, which technically is just double, but it's nice. Me being just, Lavas and a Baddocyst, that's all you need sometimes. Technically, anything melee influence related would be more nicely because bigger wave clear. So technically, the Kazava would be better to have like a melee influence build on it, attack speed, some range, weeping wounds, and just, bap melee influence. But, we have the Coda Baddocyst already built, and I think I never personally actually fully were using the Baddocyst on anything besides of like testing it on shorter missions. So I think it was actually kind of nice to like give it an actual fair try, but the Baddocyst honestly is doing so much damage because of Aptitude that, you don't really have to worry about anything. So that is actually really nice. Besides that, yeah, maybe change the color off of pink. It would probably make it a little bit more comfortable to use, that you don't have constantly like the pink glow. Except if you like pink. If you're like a fan of pink, definitely keep it like that. If you're wondering, my Lavos build is, by the way, shown in my Netra Cell video, but it is Blessing and Guardian together with Adaptation and Eclipse. So, a lot of tanking. And it's really comfortable. It's like, while I'm not the biggest fan of Lavos... No, actually, let me rephrase that. I simply don't play Lavos. But it is a great setup. Especially for here, it is a really great setup. It's one of the few frames that I have actually built for that type of health tanking. At the moment, I have to say I also have, I think, 3 blue shots on it for armor, health regen, and health. So each 1 shot, because I didn't have any shots on him, and I had so many blue shots over that I was like, why not, using some blue shots? But I originally did put them on for the ghoul event, because, with the self-inflicted damage of the Auguries, and I was wondering if back then if it actually works or not, and I think it did work. I can't fully remember if it did. I think I said the arcane shots actually working in the ghoul event, while, obviously a lot of things did not work. You could not use your abilities, etc., but that actually did work. Besides that, mobile defense is always something where you want to... Okay, let's move first and then... Mobile defense is always something where you want to, work steady but slow on it. Sometimes you actually want to, check which enemy to kill first, because we realized in one of our runs that there were actually, I think it was a Shock Eximus, and that Shock Eximus, let me tell you, took... or, did so much damage to the defense target. It was actually insane, and we did not realize it. So sometimes probably would be better to have an actual eye on the enemies if you don't have the ability to constantly kill all enemies. If you're fine and actually kill all enemies that are the slightest bit close to the defense target, then definitely go for it, right? But sometimes you do actually have to think about it. I mean, now with Volt Shields and everything, we are actually good to go. But sometimes you do have to, like, pay attention. Especially with Luminous. Luminous, I think, are, like, especially annoying. I don't know how many or, like, how often we do have Luminous. I can't remember. It's been a while, and, like, knock on wood, it will be a while since we get Luminous back, because let me tell you, Luminous are really annoying. Especially if you're, like, shield tanking and you have, like, no way to, like, regain your energy, or, like, constantly staying too close to your defense target, and you awkwardly have to kind of walk away to even have the chance to do anything. But, yeah. I think Luminous are still, like, the worst. Yeah. Luminous, and I would say Gear Wheel, but, like, this week I was fine with having Gear Wheel because I chose to take it myself. I was not forced to use it, because I at least was able to use a frame I was comfortable on while I had a good weapon, right? There was a combination where I was, like, fine with not having Gear Wheel. I think the weeks where you have to take with Gear Wheel and then you still, like, kind of, like... Are we moving? So, yeah, I think the weeks are, like, way worse where you're, like, forced to take Gear Wheel and you still don't have, like, a loadout where you're, like, really comfortable with. I think these ones are way, way worse. So, like, that's why I was like, this week is actually kind of fine. Simply because there's not much I, like, fear about with Lava Wars. At least in EDA, right? Like, health tanking works on this type of level. Nothing above that really is worrying me too much. Would have been more comfortable to be able to drop down my crew member and, like, be a little bit lazier, obviously. But in the end, I'm absolutely fine with it. To, like, do exactly, you know, what I have to do. So, I'm kind of fine with it. Just hanging around, shooting my Baddocyst. Definitely realized, especially now when I re-watch it, I should put on the recall mod. Especially now since we have, like, you know, prime counter. Is it counter force? I think it is counterbalance. It's counterbalance, right? The prime shotgun recall mod. Let's say it like that. I kind of forgot the name again, but, like, you get it, right? We now have the prime version. And the Coda weapon is actually one of the few where you probably can put it on maxed. Because, you know, Coda weapons do tend... Or, like, all type of these types of weapons depends. Like, Coda... Sister or, like, Tenet and Kuba weapons are one of the few where you actually don't struggle to have enough capacity on. Because, you know, for some reason they always have, like, a huge amount of capacity. That's why, like, I think I was, like, a tiny bit sad about steady hands, simply because, like, you will not fit it at all onto your, like, your good weapons, like dual toxicist, because dual toxicist is already, like, so full. I have my dual toxicist max format. And I still can't fit because of, like, the way the formats are. I still can't fit at all a max strength Axelis slot in it, even if it's the right polarity. We don't even like starting about the wrong polarity, simply because of, like, all of the primals. I don't know, but I'm always, like, seem to, like, shoot our, like, own guards. I am always like, oh, there's, like, an enemy, like, shoot, then realizing, oh shit, yeah, you know, that's like our enemy, or, like, our dude. He's actually, like, helping, you know. But we're nearly done with move defense, like, a minute, then we're done. And, like, the thing barely took damage. So we're kind of okay with it. We're doing great, so I don't mind too much. We can be proud of us. So really good, really nice. The thing is, like, Baddocyst is actually really good. You can also, like, take it to level cap if you, like, want to. Like, Baddocyst is definitely a weapon where you can take it. I don't know exactly on which frame you want it to. Probably Kume. Kume would be, like, really nice. I mean, like, you can probably take more or less all weapons with Kume. Kume and... which other weapon? Kume? Or, like, which other frame? Kume and maybe Rhino? Because of, like, True Roar could be also really fun. I mean, like, Revenant, obviously, you know. Please don't be too mean to Revenant players. We had, like, the discussion the other day. Please don't be too mean to people that actually do enjoy playing Revenant, or for yourself on Revenant, right? Can we, like... not me playing Revenant in ETA this week. To be fair, on ETA I had Revenant, Dante, or Trinity. So, the choice was between Overguard, Mesmer Stacks, and Health Goading. Okay, so... And the other person were playing Valkyrie, so... But Revenant is weird at the moment, at least in ETA. Like, there are, like, a lot of situations where you're still losing your shield or like part of your health. The part of your health is like partially connected to the toxin, I feel, for some reason, while you're technically invulnerable, and I feel like it should not happen. But like also like lost my shield, and I could not really figure it out why, because I'm technically invulnerable, right? So let's go. Disruption. Favorite part. By the way, opinion about Apollo Lure Fisher disruption, maybe? Are you excited? If that actually happens, that would probably like the first time I do level cap disruption. Well, I'm not a fan of disruption, but like if there's actually, you know, a way to like farm Oxy relics while getting Fissures done, I would not say no. If that is actually like a thing, sure. That doesn't sound too bad. I'm just not like sure. I mean, like Furious definitely can carry, right? I think I should not worry about my weapon because Furious can carry, especially like Heat Furious. Corrosive Heat, I'm not sure about Heat Furious. But like, I'm not sure which frame. Loki? For like the Crepuscular buff? Octavia because of the wave clear undocked. But like Toxin, I think like the biggest issue is like Toxin. What we're thinking. What is like a really comfortable frame to do disruption? Like a really comfortable level cap frame to do disruption. Maybe actually Revenant? You do get like a war buff. Oh yeah, here by the way I'm like, oh my god, why do I get constantly sped up? But you know, I'm playing with the world. What do we expect? Ready, set, go. Let's go. And yeah, I'm just sitting on the conduits because the conduits once again could be like, you know, destroyed. So I have like the big, you know, honor to like. Here I'm wondering, by the way, what happened. I don't know if the enemy was in the ceiling or if that was like simply something that spawned from time to time. I can't tell you, but definitely like where did that thing came from? No idea, but it spawned, and it there you see it, but there's no enemy. There's an invisible enemy, I guess. It is spooky. It's a ghost, you know. It's hidden. Besides that, I think the like issue is like actually like how long it takes you to get like the keys. And I know people say like, oh, just kill not enough between the rounds. I'm like fully aware of that. But I mean like actually, you know. Oh yeah, here I'm pointing out, oh yeah, there's a blueprint. Do we want to like, you know, do that before you get the orange key? Because the other person already had the orange key in their hand. So they're getting back. And then we have the orange key already with us. So that's, you know, like the big thing. But yeah, you do have this week to pay a bit of attention because the conduits can technically be destroyed. So make sure, you know, that your conduits don't get destroyed. Because then you do have to do like another round. And the issue is like sometimes, yes, you could like pay attention to your map. But sometimes the enemies are actually spawning directly on the conduit. And then you will have a hard time to get there in time. By the way, I just realized that I am generating overguard from something. Am I generating passive like from... I mean, like, we're not talking about it. There's like a bug when you have Fortifier that even so you don't use your secondary, that you sometimes trigger it, but that's the only thing. And also when you bullet jump into enemies that have overguard, you like steal one overguard. Which is solely enough for like overguard gating, don't get me wrong, but... yeah. Oh no, that's a Dun... I'm so stupid. It's a Dun Spectre. But like, I guess the Dun Spectres are close enough consistently to me to like actually give me overguard, and that's why I'm like on such a random low number. Because no idea why I'm like on why I was on 700 overguard and not like an actual cast. But you know, we're not questioning it. And once again, no keys. We waited. I didn't kill anything during the time off, right? But like, No keys. An energy drain. By the way, like, the best thing I'm seeing on lava setup is, like, energy drain. You don't care. You actually do. Like, that's the benefit with having, like, a health tank, is that you don't care for most modifiers. Like, actually. You do not care for most modifiers. That's, like, actually, like, the nice things. Like, so, like, any health tank frames, or if you wanted to, technically also... We're going to kill you, Grossling. You can't run away. You are aware of that. We will get you. Eventually. At one point. If I don't miss all of, like, half of my shots. You know, it will be fine. Ladder. Ladder Incarnate. I do actually have the Incarnate. I just decided to not use it. I did have it. It was good. It's actually a good weapon. It's fully built on my side as well. It is just generally like... you know what? I have like my Baddocyst. Why should I like even try to like consistently get my stacks up or anything? So... we're just staying with that. Can we please get a like bit quicker like keys? I feel like actually like we're stuck here to get keys. See, there it is again. Oh no, wait, this time we actually do see an enemy. So I wonder if like the other time like the enemy was like kind of stuck in the ceiling above us or something. Oh, we do have a light blue key. Nice. Let's go. We do have to wander a tiny bit, you know, back and forth. But that's, you know, we just simply have to get our steps in. That's all. We'll have to get our steps in. You should also get your step-ins. Make sure, like, you actually go out and, like, touch grass and, you know, get a little bit of fresh air. You know, I mean, to be fair, I do currently have my window open, so I will get a little bit of fresh air. So, that's not maybe, like, exactly the same, but I feel like it is close enough. You know, right? Can't exactly tell you, and I will not judge you if you're like doing exactly the same as I do and we're not actually going outside, because like who likes to go outside and like touch grass? And here we go back to the white key. We're nearly done, guys. You're not talking about that I jumped like 2 times into that object there, right? I'm not used to vault speed, and that's not even like, you know, full strength vault. That is like, you know, medium strength vault with, you know, sheer gaining. But I don't want to like talk about it. Apparently, I like that object, and I had to, like, inspect that object. Yep. I had to make sure that object is, you know, good. There we go. And we're running to the defense. See you in a second. Did I say defense? I mean extract, but, like, you know, it's fine. And we got, like, an ember shard. So, thank you so much for being here. I hope you had a wonderful EDA run. Let me know how your run was, what type of frames you had, and what type of loot you got. Don't forget to buy your shiny treasure shard from this week from Bird 3, and see you next time. Bye bye!